BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy hoy. Welcome to episode 444 of BRB UK. Yes, we have all of the fours. You're not going to find more number fours in any episode than this one. However, on that note, and rather off-brand of all the fours, there's only three of us. I'm Dan. I'm one of your hosts. Hello. I'm back again this week. My work is... I work with lots of American people, and they have very poor judgment of when 5 o'clock is. They can't... I think the sums are hard.
To be fair, that's because it's not 5 o'clock for them, Dan.
And this is true. And as we all know, America is where the world revolves around. That one you just heard there is Tim. Say hello, Tim.
Hello, Tim.
My other brother from a podcasting mother is Coleman. Say hello.
Hi. I didn't know my mum had a
doing?
podcast. Or our other mother had a podcast, or how that
Who knows?
works.
She might have done.
I was going to say, I know a fair few Americans through podcasts and stuff that they seem to not know their own time zones in the country of the good old US of A.
Well, there's just no helping some people.
Let alone the UK.
I mean, at least all of our
it's-
countries in the same time zone. That does make things slightly easier.
Except for
It's
the Isle
true.
of Wight. They live in the Dark Ages. Don't offend the people of the Isle of Wight.
Well, it could be. It's not like they're from the Isle of Man. I mean, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
We're just going to do a
seriously.
tour of all the islands we haven't possibly insulted over the years of the podcast.
If my cat's anything to go by, a small landlocked island is not great for genetic diversity. Just saying, okay? Like, my cat is a Manx cat. Because he's totally his own uncle, that's why he has no tail.
Right?
Because he's, like, inbred, like you would never believe. So, yeah, I'm just saying, going that as a barometer of genetic diversity.
There's my girlfriend and my
Just
cousin
saying.
and my sister. There she is.
Hey, look, you can biologically be your own uncle. So, there's a life goal for you.
No,
Channel
thanks.
Island weirdos.
Dan, I've got exciting news that I thought you'd be really interested in.
Oh, yeah, please.
Because
tickle my fancy.
we are officially now in the next generation of video game consoles, because I know something you've had your eye on for quite some time is finally hitting the market.
Is it? Are they making more Game & Watches?
No, it's the Atari VCS. It's finally launching this month.
Do you know what was really depressing on that note on the VCS? No, I'm
Atari
glad
in
that,
general.
that's out. Yeah, I know, right? But I saw this in America, there was like a health promotion poster which showed a picture of an OG Atari 2600 joystick. And it basically said, if you know what this is, it's time for you to book a colonoscopy.
Oh, that's actually quite clever. I like that.
So I've now got a level of fear for the Atari VCS. But no, I'm still not entirely sure what the point of this Atari VCS redo is, but it looks nice.
I like it in the sense of it's a new console. Always like new consoles. It's like $299 redos. So Tim's probably going to throw some money at it and regret this purchase within a week.
Good work, Tim.
I don't know. I may have my retro wants sated for now. So, yeah. We'll come on to that later in the show.
No, but this is New Age fun with the vintage feel. They're two entirely different
not
things.
Not only can you get it in the classic wood panel style, but you can
that
also
is
get...
appealing.
You can get the pretty cool modern-looking controller. It's more like a 360 Xbox Series, Xbox controller type deal. But also you can get a classic wireless Atari controller, like the joystick with the one red button, and that's pretty cool. But you get with the console, you get bundled in. I think it's a collection of 1,000 Atari and arcade titles, which that just sounds like a cool idea.
I mean, I'm surprised Microsoft's patents department hasn't been knocking on Atari's door going, this controller.
I mean, if they didn't go after Nintendo's Pro controller, I don't see them going after Atari.
Do we know if
true.
it's... and there's quite a few generic controllers out there that are that sort of shape now. It's become fairly ubiquitous.
It's just comfortable.
Do we know if that's a closed system though? Is that your lot of games?
No.
No.
Runs, I think this thing runs Linux, doesn't it?
Linux, yeah. It's
Linux, yeah.
It's meant to. There's new games coming to it. I just don't know what they are at this moment in time. But yeah, for £300, you can get the console on its own. $300. I don't know what the UK price is just yet, so it's probably going to be a little bit later.
Probably £300. They don't go very imaginative.
Probably, but you get it with no controllers, just the kind of packing game, because it'll be. You can use any PC standard controller on there as well.
Okay.
And then if you pay more, then you can have all the controllers bundled in with the console. But
all of them.
Controllers.
All of the controllers, amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought that excited you.
Is can you go? I want to know if you can go full retro and buy one of the new version of this, but put in an original Atari VCS wood panel case. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I could probably hack that together for you quite easily.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's your homework. Thanks, Carl. I appreciate it.
Who's buying the VCS for me?
Yeah, exactly. I love some of these promotional images though, where it's like someone's got the wood panelled Atari VCS tucked under their monitor, and they're doing important spreadsheet work.
It's the
because if you need to do important spreadsheet work,
it's for the mature gamer.
To have an Atari VCS, one who's probably due a colonoscopy. Yes. So anyway, that's good.
That's good.
But you know, although God knows if it's like any other electronic device, God knows how you're actually going to find one of these at any point ever. And on that note, NVIDIA today released their new version of the RTX 3080 and RTX 3070, their TI or titanium variants, I'm assuming is what they're going for. I think they sold out in about 5 seconds. Are a blatant cash, although the 3070 Ti is all right, the 3080 Ti is a blatant cash grab, and I just think it's a bit of a it's a bit of a ballsy thing to do when people who placed their pre-orders back in September last year still haven't got that card that they're releasing.
Have you checked with all of them this week, Dan?
Yes,
okay.
Every one of them.
That would be like a console manufacturer releasing variants of their controllers for consoles that no one's been able to buy since the launch of the damn thing.
or you know, making the decision to release some of your upcoming games on the previous generation just because no one might actually have the next gen console.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that later in the show.
I know, right? I know. So anyway, Nvidia, bad Nvidia.
It's funny, I was chatting to my girlfriend's brother the other day because he was asking me about PC building, and because he's never built a PC before, and
it's easy.
He wanted some advice, and I went, well, at the moment, I'd say don't, because of the scarcity of some of the parts. If anything, if you can afford it, go for a prefab, just one that's pre-built for you, because the only people that don't seem to have problems getting hold of graphics cards and processors and stuff seem to be the third-party manufacturers that put them together.
Well, it appears cheaper to buy pre-built with a graphics card already in it and bin the rest of it.
Yeah. It's going to take a couple of years of cryptocurrency dip before everything starts leveling out again, I think.
Although NVIDIA have actually, I don't know how they've done it, they've disabled crypto mining on the new GPUs that they've got. So my 3080 is an original one, which means it could be used for that sweet, sweet Dogecoin.
Get mining.
But I choose not to. No.
Burn the environment.
No.
Stuff the future.
No, I mean, seriously, if I'm doing anything on my PC, my man cave gets to about 4 million degrees fairly quickly. If I start crypto mining in here, it's going to just... I'm going to melt. I'm a shiny boy enough already. I will go extra shiny if I did do that.
It's the equivalent of playing one modern video game on the PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anywho, other things I've been doing, and now I'm just going to leave you two to it.
That's
since you've
fine.
actually played new stuff in the past month. I've been trying to get back into Elite Dangerous. As you know, Odyssey came out.
Of course.
Yep.
We both know this.
Yeah.
Huge Elite Dangerous fans, me and Tim.
I know.
I really like
We call ourselves the Dangerous Boys.
I'm sad that, I couldn't get more into it in VR on a console, because then I would have played more. But hey.
Yeah, so Odyssey's the new release of it. It is riddled with bugs. It's very much a beta release in all but name. I haven't really dug too much into the new stuff. I've just been trying to work out how the hell to actually do Elite. Before I've loaded into my old save, which is like a year and a half ago. I've got this big shit with all these things on it. I've got no idea how any of it works. So that's step one. Work out how that works.
Step
but
three,
I did
broth
also
it.
manage to pick. Well, actually, that is half the idea in Elite, I think you'll find. And I did manage to pick myself up a HOTAS stick.
Okay.
So I'm going to be experimenting with that, and I shall report back in full next time. And I shall try and even do a bit of what happens with HOTAS and VR. Because that, I think,
Star
could
Wars
be quite
Squadrons,
fun.
Dan. Star Wars Squadrons. Free on PlayStation Plus this month, but still
snap,
worth
son.
buying on the Quest.
Yes.
Especially if you don't have a PlayStation.
Yeah, like many people. Anyway, so that stuff I've been up to, report back. Oh yeah, and Vault of Glass happened on Destiny.
Oh, you're
2.
back into Vault of Glass. How is it?
Back to Vault of Glass. It changed quite a lot. Actually, quite impressive. Enjoyed it. So there we go. But you two will slip into a coma if I talk any more than 5 seconds about Destiny.
Nah, that's
2,
fine.
So
I find it.
have at it.
I find funny anytime you mention the Vault of Glass at work. In my job that I don't tell people what I do, we have a vault for certain things that have to be vaulted away.
Are you Boris Johnson's prostate?
Yeah, of
filter?
course.
Clearly working in
Anyway.
Gringotts.
Lovely. All right. Glad we
Even though that's... Oh,
We
sorry, we
have
can't
a vault
reference that
for-
anymore.
Same
Let's not
thing,
do
mate.
that.
We have a vault, and while and then there was a renovation going around the building, so the vault had to be shut down, and it was being moved and to a bigger storage and all this kind of thing. And the vault was moved into what used to be an office that had all glass walls and doors, like those weird corporate fishbowl offices. And for the longest time, I labelled it the Vault of Glass, and no one got that reference. Like, Dan would love this.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you mind if I go first,
No,
Tim?
go ahead.
You guys go for it. I shall just throw pithy comments in from the sidelines
It's
here on
fine.
out, as appears to be increasingly my
Because,
role on this
as you
show.
know, this will now be the third the third episode of BRB UK where we have spoken about Aerial Knight's Never Yield, which was initially shown off.
But it's my first one, I believe. Since
You were on the first
time
one, I
I've been
think.
on.
Yeah, we talked
you missed
about
the
it a while
second
back.
one. Yes.
Was I? I distinctly slipped into a coma then.
we
So
were-
I've got no
this-
recollection of it whatsoever.
This was during they announced this during the Nintendo Indie World Showcase and showed off this runner game
Yes.
that was very, very reminiscent of Mirror's Edge, which on the iOS devices, which had the swipe controls and stuff. But this was announced for the
Yep.
Switch. It's also available on PC, PS3, and Xbox One and Xbox Series X and all these other platforms. Now, when they announced it, they also released a demo, which I tried and went, I'm not impressed with this. And then a couple of weeks later, Tim tried the demo, gave his impressions, and I went, I'm not impressed with this. Anyway, they sent me a copy of the game.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to the show.
So presumably having listened to you
Maybe
going,
they decided
"Oh,
to
sure
change your
about
mind,
it."
Coleman.
Do you know what? I think that's what it might be. And I will admit, I might have been a bit hesitant after playing the demo, going, "Hey, I had fun with this type of game."
Drink more
Well,
water.
it was more. I had fun with this type of game 10, 11 years ago on a phone, and I'm not impressed with your version, according to the couple of levels released in this demo. And they sent me the game on Xbox Series X first of all. And I will again. This game is made by a single developer, so it's not the most impressive title out there. But it is a cheap title. I think it's 20 pounds.
I think it
Can't
was
remember.
$8.99. I think, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
Oh, no,
even
that might have
cheaper.
been when it
But
was
yeah,
on sale on pre-order and pre-release or week of release type
Gotcha.
thing. But yeah.
Buy
I got this hammer water savings.
Hammer.
Anyway, yeah, so they sent it over. I gave it a try, and I was having that similar thing of, it's very kind of, it's simplistic. I prefer this with swipe controls and not really gelling with using a controller. And about 5 levels in, which isn't, it doesn't take, it's not this whole, hey, after 20 hours of playing the game, you're going to enjoy it. After about 5 levels, which is a very short amount of time
Which
in
was
terms
the
of this
demo
game,
as well.
something clicked. Yeah, something clicked, and I went, It's actually quite fun. Now, the way this game works, as we've spoken before, it is a runner. You use forward, backwards, up and down on the D-pad, which you can interchange with the face buttons as well to do different motions. If you're forward, you're rushing. If you're back, you do like a kind of a mid jump. If you're down, you slide. If you're up, you high jump. And then if you combine the face buttons and the D-pad, then you're laughing because you can run all the way and sprint and then do more advanced things, and it's fun. There is a narrative to this game, but it's all acted out without voice dialogue or narrative or anything. It's just, it happens in front of you. It's a very short thing that happens at the end of the level and at the start of the level. It's a very quick thing. The game itself, going through the story from A to Z, is not particularly long. And the idea of that is because you're going to burn through it all on the starting mode, on the easy mode, on the amateur mode, whatever you want to call it. And then after that point, then it turns a bit like a mobile game where you are trying to go back and redo all the levels in a harder version. And I found out when I first started the game, when I booted it up, it made me go into the starting levels. It's like, but I was playing the bloody demo on the hardest difficulty and it was absolutely fine. Why wouldn't it let me do that? And I think it's just for the intro level, and then you go back and you can pick whatever the hell you want through that. But it's that appeal of going back and just replaying the game over and over to kind of beat your score, beat your friends' scores and all that kind of stuff in playing it. And that's where the action is. And it's kind of harkened back to me for that period of time where we had the Xbox 360 and they launched the Xbox Arcade and the indies and all that kind of stuff. And they were cheap little games that you could pick up and do high scores against your friends and stuff. And they had that little hook to kind of keep you interested. And that's what it's done. It's given me a hook to keep interested with. It's got a nice style to it. It's got a nice soundtrack to it. Everything's independent, all done in Detroit, one developer. Yet again, local talent for musicians and what have you. So I like the sound of that story outside of the game. The game itself, it's not particularly mind-blowing, but it's got a hook to it that when you play it enough, it does get fun. And then you kind of, it's one of those games as well, you can get into the zone
kind of thing.
Where... Yeah, like especially on the easier levels, they kind of color code all the actions that you're doing in the obstacles. And there is a point, I will admit, when I was playing the early levels, just to go through the kind of main story, I guess, there was a point where I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing. I was kind of glossing over, but I was in the corner of my eye seeing the colors appear and going, yeah, do that, do that, do that, do that. And then you could run through without getting a single death. But it was still, it was still enough fun to then get to the harder levels and go, okay, now I want to do this again. I want to get to that point where I can just kind of zone out and figure out how to do this level through repetition and stuff. And it is like a very fun, polished mobile game, but it's on the console, which is odd to me because this would be suited better to a mobile game. Even though I don't play mobile games anymore, I prefer to play this on a mobile. But playing it on the Series S is good enough for me at the moment, and I am really enjoying it.
Yeah, we both played the demo on the Switch. I was going to say, do you think there's any advantage to playing it on a TV to playing it on the smaller screen that may be added to the advantage, or is it just literally getting deeper into the game and playing more of it?
I'd say in getting to that mode of kind of zoning out and when I was doing the demo initially, I think I played that on the TV because I had to get capture for the show. So it was that kind of, which I don't think we used in the end. But anyway, it was that kind of zoning out happened. I think it's easier with the bigger picture available to you. I don't know if there's specifically, I think it runs a bit smoother on the Series S to the Switch, and that's to be expected. But
you'd flip him. You'd flip him while hope so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but if you're pricing the games all the same and sticking them on every platform, I don't think there's a problem with that, especially for such a kind of low budget game with a small indie team and that to it. But yeah, they have turned me around on the game. And if this is your kind of thing as well on in terms of trophy hunting or achievement hunting, really obtainable, easy 100% on this game because it doesn't revolve around the challenges. You'll find you get most of them by the time you run through the game the first time around, and then the others are things like jump 10 times in a row, like really simplistic stuff to throw in there that you wouldn't think to look at unless you were looking at the list. But it's a very obtainable trophy achievement there. But yeah, I I recommend it in the sense of it turned me around to what I was thinking about this game. Still not might be for you, but at the same time, free demo. Go play the free demo. If there's some kind of semblance there for you to go, yeah, I might enjoy this, it's cheap enough to then take a punt on it, I reckon.
I mean, was it just because there wasn't enough variety in the demo? Do you think they just didn't choose the right slice?
It's the early part of the game, isn't it?
Or is
I think it's literally just because I looked at the reveal and went, oh, it's like this game on the iPhone that I really, really loved and was a big commute killer for me back in the day. I'd like to play that.
It's
and then
not
play
that.
it and went,
Right.
It's not as good as I remembered. It doesn't suit buttons and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, after a while, it's just like you got to kind of forget that notion and then it becomes a very enjoyable experience. But yeah, you got to put an hour into it to really start to love it, I reckon.
Cool.
Yeah, that was Aerial Knights Never Yield, if you're excited.
excellent.
All good.
Tim, what is wrong with this sentence? There is a goose loose about the hoose.
I mean, like a general goose loose about your hoose is bad, but if it was this goose, it would be
geese,
worse.
I mean, geese are evil little
Yeah,
f***s,
and it's
aren't
not
they?
like, it was a day in the village or whatever, and someone decided to be a naughty goose. This is one heavily armed goose.
Well, sorry, before you get to your
Yes.
heavily armed goose, let's not remember, Dan's alluding to the fact that he had a childhood trauma involving a goose.
Yes.
I completely forgot that.
Anyone that's
Chasing me around the
Anyone
bloody
that's
lake.
a recent
Jesus.
listener or maybe didn't listen at this point of the show, Dan was once assaulted by a goose.
I was assaulted by a bloody goose.
I'm not sure that's something you want to admit to in general public or
No, I
on a
was.
podcast.
I was an impressionable
Did you
young
have to
fella.
go and,
I was going.
give a police sketch impression, artist impression of what the goose looked like?
Yes, Tim, that's exactly what I did. Exactly. I went to my games teacher. And, oh, goose tried to eat my face, and he went, "Yeah, whatever. Shut up." I think is probably the closest thing. But anyway, yes, geese evil.
Well, yeah, I've been
Evil.
in somewhat of a handheld retro heaven this week. So, yeah,
Right.
I will come on to the fact that, I've been playing Evercade, and we'll come on to that in a minute and a bit later. But yeah, also, Mighty Goose is a retro-inspired action platformer. I was playing on the Switch. I believe it's also available on other flavoured platforms as well. Maybe someone can double-check that while we're going, but I believe it's available on Xbox and PlayStation.
Yes, it's available on the Switch.
I was going to say Steam,
Steaminess,
PC as well.
the Xbox One and
Yes.
the
There you
go.
PS4.
Yeah.
So by extension, presumably PS5 and Xbox Series with that
As I said, you're
compatibility.
a heavily armed goose, and the best way to be heavily
You're a heavily
armed as a
armed
goose
goose.
is to first of all have some big robot arms. That helps with the firing of the guns.
Well, of course, because otherwise you'd be a heavily
Yeah,
winged goose.
yeah,
As
it
we all know,
wouldn't
geese
go
don't
as
have
well.
arms.
Not as good trigger
No.
fingers on wings. Not so great. But yeah, it's really fun, really well done. Kind of, retro inspired graphics. I wouldn't say it was an 8-bit style. I'd say it was more probably 16-bit.
It's more
maybe?
16-bit, 16-bit style, but utilizes modern technology to go. It looks like it could be a SNES game, but a SNES would no way run this.
yeah. It's almost like a remake of an old SNES game though. Like it very much feels like that kind of thing. And yeah,
From what you sent me the other day when I was asking what you've been playing, it very much looks like Wild Arms, but with a goose.
right, I was going to say
Yes.
Wild Arms is one thing. It also very much reminds me of Metal Slug as well.
Yeah, Metal Slug.
Especially when it's got
Yep.
kind of it's got vehicles you can use in it as well as the kind of usually you're just kind of waddling around on foot and shooting from the hip sort of thing, but generally you can also jump in some vehicles as well. And it's got very
Geese don't have
diminutive
hips.
tanks that very much remind me of Metal Slug particularly as well.
Yeah, the kind of shibby style of tanks where they're all compressed and stuff and look really interesting.
Yeah, and it kind of remind me of what's the Advanced Wars type style tanks. That
Oh,
kind of
okay.
little chibi tank. type
Yeah,
thing.
it's
But
got
ones
that-
you can jump in
Definitely
and
got that.
yeah, depending on, because you've also got a companion that comes with you as well, and you can choose a different companion, and they've got a different like backup power they can give you. One of the early ones you unlock is
I
a
have a
pig that
question.
gives you machine gun ammo. Because why not? Yeah,
I have a question. Can I fulfill my dream and have a Mallard-based
mate,
sidekick?
Mallard, first one out there. He's pretty useless.
Nice.
He doesn't do very
Really?
much, but he's very loyal. So
Good.
What, he just gives you moral
See?
support?
Good.
and
You're,
as you go
you're
through
the
the
best,
game, you unlock
Goose.
more
You're
companions
great.
with different powers, and I don't want to give spoilers for what they are, but there's kind of like melee-based powers and like rocket launchers or guns, and as I said, or a pig that just gives you machine gun ammo. And yeah, like the pig for some reason is the only one that will get in the tank with you. He'll jump in the back of the tank or no, maybe not the
Well,
tank.
because the pig's a weapon expert, obviously.
It's also like you get like a mech armor type thing that you can jump in, and he jumps in the back of that as well. But
Or it's in case you get an itchy back and he can give you some pork scratching.
but yeah,
But
yeah, it's kind of set like basically you play through a bit like you were saying before, Coleman. You play through the game once, and you realise that it's for some reason it gets to a very odd percentage of like 68% complete or something like that. And you play through the game once, and it unlocks a harder mode where you can go back and play through the levels again. But each time you play through the level, it also gives you like a ranking, from I think D's the lowest up to S rank, basically. And so there's a reason to replay even the like lower levels, and I'm actually getting better scores replaying the harder levels than when I went through the first time, just because I know what
You're
I'm
my
doing.
hero,
I've got some
Tim.
slightly better weapons that I unlocked it for playing through the end of the game. But yeah, it kind of rolls credits halfway through, but then you're encouraged to go back and replay, and I've already jumped in and replayed most of the levels. I think I'm like 86% of the way through the game now or something like that. So I haven't quite seen the last levels again, but I've kind of seen most of what the game has to offer, I think. I've still got a couple of things to unlock, but most of the powers. You get like your general normal weapon, but then you've got like 3 like default things, and it's got like an energy meter that I quite like, where as you unlock things, they've got a different energy component to them that you have to factor in, and then you can change around which of those powers that you're using depending on how much power you've got available with the other powers you've got. I generally ended up, there's one right at the end of the game that I won't spoil, but it's kind of someone extra that comes help you out and kind of shoot stuff. So you generally use that one, and there's a thing that unlocks the ability to double jump because you don't have that. So some of them are like abilities, and some of them are just like upgrades to your weapons or upgrades to some of your abilities. On top of that, as I said, you've got the companions, and then you've also got like a secondary weapon that you can change up throughout the
I have
game
a
and unlock
question.
different things. At first, it is just a goose honk that does nothing, but it says, it makes you feel good. That's about it, basically. But then you unlock it and does like grenades or orbital strikes and other stuff like that, basically. But summoning
It is-
things as well.
Is the extra character who comes in to help you right at the end, is he called Goose Willis?
No, they're all
That's a good
generally
one.
other animals, other anthropomorphic animals, basically.
Anthropomorphic. That is indeed a word, Tim. Congratulations. The word of the day, toilet paper, continues to pay dividends for you.
Yet. But yeah, like it's really well put together. It's really well polished. It's really fun. It's got some like mechanics
Duck
that it uses
Rogers?
in terms
Is it
of
Duck
like
Rogers? Is that the
you
name?
can shoot down to continue across the screen. To continue where you are
Right.
and maintain your height as you're jumping, and you can use that throughout the game. And there's some points where it overly uses that a little bit, and that was a bit tough. But sometimes, if you're getting stuck in a level, it's because you've chosen the wrong kind of equipment and uses of energy and stuff that you actually need to get through the level. You can also at any time pause the game and call up a shop that will drop off a weapon or a basic vehicle as well, basically, which is quite handy for getting through some of the tougher bits in the levels. It's It's a bit unforgiving in some ways. There are parts where you'll get through like one section and then it will checkpoint through those different sections. But there's also parts where you died, go back to the start of the level type thing. And you can die on the boss and go all the way back to the start of a level in some points, basically. That's kind of one-off arena fight. But then each level generally has a slightly different mechanic. Once you're through the first couple of levels that kind of show you the way and open up a couple of companions and stuff like that, each level generally has a slightly different mechanic that it centers around. It will be a vehicle. There's like one level in flight. There's a different level where you've got to do a lot of that jumping that I was mentioning. And it kind of, there's often a particular central mechanic or vehicle to a level. And so that kind of helps mix things up a bit and gives each level a slightly different feel. There's some slight puzzle platform elements and there's some exploration which is rewarded by like hidden vehicles that you wouldn't have had throughout the rest of the level otherwise, and vehicles give you an extra level of like armor protection, so they're quite handy to have as well, basically. But a lot of the time it's about making sure you all out, guns blazing, using all your powers and doing everything so you push through to the next health pack so you can pick that up and continue to the next one, sort of thing. But it's a really nice gameplay loop. Things feel really good. The shooting feels quite good. The only thing I would say is, as I said, the downward shooting mechanic thing was perhaps overused in one level to a point, but I think it may have been, I could have used better equipment and got through that a bit easier, perhaps. But yeah, it's a really fun little game. I recommend it for anyone that's into kind of old school action platformers or anyone that sort of appeals to. It's a really nicely put together version of one of those games. So much so that I'll be looking out for whatever the developer of this game does next, basically, and playing a good bit more of this game before I'm finished with it as well. So, yeah, really enjoyed it.
So, in terms, because it's out, it's not out or as of the day of this recording.
No, it's Saturday.
Right, yeah, sorry.
Saturday, June 5th.
And I should have mentioned as well, I was sent a review code of this as well. I forgot to say that up front, but it generally doesn't change my opinion on things, as you probably know.
No, we trust you.
But
so we know you've got no morals anyway,
also,
so it's fine.
The embargo for this is 7 o'clock this morning, 7 a.m. this morning of when this podcast comes out. So the podcast should come out after that time, so that should be fine. But yeah, the game...
Well, of course it will, Tim, you blithering idiot.
I might put it out earlier. I might put an all-nighter just to get this out.
If we can travel back in time and break the embargo, then, mate,
it's 7 o'clock in the morning the day the podcast comes out.
The day of release, the podcast comes
7
out.
o'clock
Friday morning. Yeah.
Well, that's slightly
on the
less
Friday,
exciting.
and I believe the game comes out on the Saturday.
I'm glad I'm glad you tell me that now, because even though I tend to, I aim to get the podcast out like 10:30. If it's ready early and I can't be buggered, I'll just go, do you know what? Sod it. It's done now. So I'm glad you said this before I do that.
One thing though, I did say, I did play it on the Switch, and Switch does that old thing of once you've downloaded the game, I can't see how much it's available for pre-order, so I don't know how much it is on the Switch. Can someone, because that might factor into the equation if it's £500, but if it's any reasonable price, I'd pick it up, because there's quite a bit of game, and
I don't think it's £500. I could probably quickly tell you how much it's going to be.
I mean,
on the
Steam. It's still down as wish list on Steam, so I can't really check there.
Usually by now it would be.
It doesn't even say. It doesn't actually say the price on the Switch either.
I mean,
so that's interesting.
Anything like £20 or below will be fine for this game, basically, I would say. But I would imagine it's going to be less than that. But let's see if I've got information that I should be aware of.
A lot of people. Mighty Goose, it's £15.09.
That is a good price for this game, basically. If you see it any lower than that,
£15.09.
Like a naughty goose.
It's funny because Arcady gets banded about a lot, and it's one that I try not to use, even though I do fall back on it. And I think that it seems to reflect more like Xbox Arcade, where it's cheaper experience, but more action heavy, not particularly like a budget thrown into it. Whereas really, Arcade, as in terms of we probably would have played this in an arcade, does seem to suit this game by the looks of the trailers and stuff. And I'm going to have to pick this up myself, I reckon.
Yeah.
As I said, I know what you mean, but it didn't particularly remind me of an arcade game. I guess in some of the attack patterns and some of the stuff, yes. But as I said, it more reminded me of Metal Slug more than anything else. And I think that's probably what it took its name from. Also, I didn't mention though, very quickly, Mighty Goose. For anyone that doesn't know, it hasn't been listening to the show for very long, my online handle has always been, gaming-wise, has been Mighty Mutt for forever. So I'm glad this lived up to the mighty name in terms of quality when a game is a Mighty Goose.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure that was
to
their
be fair,
prime
it's one of the
concern,
reasons
mate.
I took an interest in the game was the name. And then I saw it was a heavily armoured goose. And I'm like, okay, I might be down for this.
So you're telling me if we put the word mighty in front of anything, that makes you, by default...
Mate, have you not seen his collection of Mighty Max toys? He loves it.
Yeah. So if I'd like to say Mighty Primula, other plastic cheeses are available, that would make you super excited in reviewing that.
I'd want to know that it was living up to the quality name of Mighty. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well... Listeners, I think we have some homework for you this week. What things would you like to put the word mighty in front of to get Tim to review?
Mighty Adam Sandler comedy film.
See, that's not gonna happen. People wouldn't put those two things in the same sentence.
I'm trying to think of a bad one.
That wouldn't.
Most of them.
That would be an oxymoron.
Mighty
celery.
Mighty Jack and Jill, starring Adam Sandler and Adam
Mighty
Sandler.
Veggie Mighty. Mighty Marmighty?
Right, yeah, and also...
It's got two Mighties, it's got to be twice as good.
Evercade. I'm going to hold this up to the camera for the...
Excellent. So, Evercade, we talked about
the Evercade Versus. This isn't the Versus.
Yeah,
this
the
is
console.
Home
console.
talking about. I'm talking about
the handheld console.
units. As you can see on the camera.
I will point out...
That is a handheld unit.
I will point out, Tim, you don't need to keep holding it up to the camera.
I know.
I'm
just doing that so the video listeners have...
He just wants to show off. He's just grandstanding, mate. He's like,
I want you to know I've definitely got one.
Look at all the $59.99. Look at all the $59.99s I have in my life.
But no. I'm going to say this as well. I've been sent this for review this week as well. So, again, take that with a pinch of salt and be like...
It's not even got the word mighty in
mighty. Well, it's a fairly mighty thing.
My online name's close to that. Captain Average, Captain Everage.
Well, that's close.
That would be closer.
Where's
my handheld?
Mostly white, but also with red stylings. So it's kind of, fits
Dan's mostly
Red
white.
Barrel styling name. So
with with a red trim.
I'm just saying, look, I got sent a game, you got sent a game, you should have sent down a handheld.
I mean, yeah, we could have done.
Or at least a game.
I don't know if I have to give this back. I think I do at some point. I think it's an extended loan rather than a gift. But here we go. But yeah, as I said, I'm going to come back to this next week when I've had a better chance to dig into some of the software. But just for a quick impression of the hardware itself and the actual unit.
Stop playing with it.
Well, I'm just saying. But yeah, I quite like it. It's one of those things where when I first turned on the screen, I was a little disappointed, to be honest, but I think that's because...
How so?
Well, it's one of those things. I've been spoiled by, A, the Switch, and B, mobile phones. They are two very high-quality screens that are in a very much higher, a higher-priced device, and therefore able to, deliver a slightly higher quality. That said, having just, knocked around and gone through the kind of games that it came with, I don't think that's anything that's a massive issue. Most of these games wouldn't look significantly better on a phone screen or on the Switch necessarily, because they just don't need that level of graphical fidelity. There is nothing on the Atari 2600 that requires the level of that sort of stuff. And also, the fact that it is a cheaper screen actually appeals to me in some ways, because I think there are times and places where I do not want to have my phone out or would not want to take my Switch with me because the Switch doesn't fit in my pocket, and this does, which means
get
that
bigger trousers,
it
mate,
being a
lower
priced unit means I can take it more places that I wouldn't take those other devices or wouldn't want to game on my phone, as we discussed.
And also, as we've already established, it's not technically yours.
Yeah, but also, when
stolen,
when we're all retro retro gamers.
Oh yeah, I got the unit out in the middle of in the middle of Hackney. I don't know where it's gone.
Well, yeah, basically, not to give too much away, but if I don't get to keep this, I will definitely buy one, I think, for the price that it is.
Well done, you just
and for
talked
everything.
yourself into not getting to keep it, Tim.
Well, possibly so. I'm going to be honest. Like, but I think that's like part of that's part of the position that we're in and what we do. That's a good way to recommend something to someone. Like I can see enough use cases where I will play this and get more gaming into my life where I wouldn't be able to do that otherwise. It also gives me access to a few just different things. I as we said before, none of us I think game on our phones anymore, despite the ubiquitous nature of that and the fact that everyone has one and everyone has access to one.
I do, but very differently to how you might think.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't want to.
Wow, there's a conversation we're going to
I
have
don't want
later.
to game on that for, significantly. But then also, when it's a lack of buttons, it just doesn't feel right to me. And maybe that's a sign of age or whatever. But yeah, I definitely like having some solid
for me,
buttons
Tim,
to go with. The one thing I'll say,
me,
I haven't found a game
it's
yet.
the hemorrhoids.
And it may be
It's the
because I've been
hemorrhoids
playing
that stop
older
me.
stuff, but I haven't had a game yet that uses the shoulder buttons that it has. Like, it's all just on the face buttons. And often one
I
of
have a
them.
question.
But yeah.
I have a question.
Yes?
So, the Evercade.
Mm-hmm.
You can't run random stuff on it. It's not like a Linux-based handheld
I
console.
believe it's running Linux.
Most things
yeah,
do
but
these
I
days.
don't think it's something you can just generally drop in. I mean, it's got its kind of proprietary cartridges
are what you have
which
to do.
are a bit odd. Like, I quite like, as I said, the stylings of unit. Again, I'm going to hold this up even though Coleman says not to. But when you don't have a cartridge in, and the cartridges have the label side on the inside of it,
sourcing footage.
and then a very small bit of writing on that side. But when you don't have the cartridges in, there's a kind of metal slot on the back that's empty.
You want to
So
keep
you
a
need to
cartridge
keep
in
a
then,
cartridge in the console at all times generally, which I'm sure most people do, so that's not a major problem. But I do quite like the stylings of it when it is in the actual console itself as well, which, yeah.
It's a good job like the Game Boy or didn't do that, or the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, but the Game Boy had that little notch where you kind of moved the thing across and it kept the cartridge in. Like, this is, a bit smoother and a bit nicer finish. Like, I don't know. There's something I like about carts as well, like the physical nature of them and, being able to swap them in and out.
You're a hoarder and you like physical things.
That. But then, it is kind of handy having multiple games on one cart, I still haven't really got to the case where I'm like, well, I don't know which game to take with me or whatever, because I've generally been playing it at home. It does give me access to play stuff on the balcony, which obviously I can do with the Switch and stuff as well. But yeah, as I said, it opens up a few things and a few places where I couldn't normally play games. It's, direct sunlight seems to be not great for it, but, better than some older consoles like the Game Boy and other stuff where you literally couldn't play in the sun. It's just not great, but it's kind of serviceable and, not too bad, basically.
So my main question is, obviously, since you're reliant, since there's no eShop, you're completely reliant on a kind of
cartridge
of cartridges continuing to be released for this system. So have they said much about, what's coming? Because I'm presuming the cartridge that you use for the handheld version also work in the set-top version?
Yeah, the Versus has 2 cartridge slots, so you can put up to 2 cartridges in at once, so you can flick around between even more games a little bit more. And you can use the handheld as a controller on the console itself as well, basically.
I have a question.
Yes, you go for it, Coleman.
Sorry, because I do a lot of this stuff with retro-built consoles and stuff. Can you connect to HDMI and connect this directly to a TV and then play it through the handheld as a console? Ooh.
Yeah. So it's got, I think it's an HDMI port out, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one thing I haven't really messed around with that I was like, I probably should do that before the show, and then did not have time today.
I should probably capture some footage and send it to Coleman before we do the podcast.
But as I said, I'm going to be talking a bit more about the software because each cartridge has multiple games on it, so I kind of want to talk about those separately in the coming weeks. And the pack that they sent me is not the one that you alluded to, which was the £60 pack, Coleman, which Dan, which I believe is the one that comes with the Namco Museum pack. But this is the premium pack one, so it comes with the Atari, Namco Museum, and Interplay collection as well, basically.
Okay.
Here's the kind of highlights I think for this thing is, because again, so like I said, I mobile game, but I don't mobile game games from mobile stores and stuff. What I'm doing is I'm running ROMs to either stuff I own or arcade games that are no longer available for me to play from my childhood and stuff, and I play them on my phone with a Razer Kishi. Right. So I have the physical buttons and the sticks to an Xbox grade level that I then play on my phone, and also Game Pass and stuff. So that's how I'm getting my gaming. I think the use of this is the simplicity. Two, if you like physical cartridges and stuff, you've got those to get, and also they are licensed by the companies. They are from Namco, they are from Bitmap Brothers, and so on, and those are available to you. The other thing as well is that a lot of these are ROMs of, for instance, Burger Time is on there. It's not Burger Time, the Atari's Burger Time, is Burger Time, the arcade version of Burger Time, and a lot of these games that were available only in arcades never got a home port in their versions that were available in the arcade, weren't as superior as the arcade versions, and are now available on this handheld device. Now, yes, you could go out, source ROMs, not pay anyone to get these games, but this is a good way of doing it, and a simplistic way of doing it. And again, you can connect it to your TV and do whatever you want with that, and have a pass pad type thing. It looks like a cool system for that.
Yeah, and as I said,
and also, and one last thing, with the rising cost of retro games as well, it's a very expensive hobby to get into. Since lockdown started alone, I've seen game prices increase to the point where something that used to be $10 on an American eBay is now $100 on an American eBay. You know, it's a very hard hobby to get into now.
And I think, did you have the Retron 5, Coleman? Am I remembering that correctly?
I still have the Retron 5. I was actually going to go donate it to our friend Rick to do some Strange Play stuff with.
Because, I mean, that's all good for, as you say, being able to slot cartridges. And if you've got the cartridges available and you are a retro gamer, that's probably a better thing for you. But I think if you don't have that in this environment these days, this is a better console for you, because, like you say, it's getting an increasingly expensive thing. And it's not like you're getting like a really good game by modern standards for your money kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, you're paying a lot of money for a game that is rare, not necessarily because it is good. So, yeah, like, I just... The one other thing it adds, it kind of dips into the software side of things, but it's kind of got the overview structure for moving through the games and stuff like that. Obviously, that might be done differently from cartridge to cartridge, but on the software side of things, the software side of things to the hardware, the one thing it's added as well is the ability to have save slots, which is a nice addition, especially when, there's multiple games. I think I have a save state of adventure at the moment that I may have to return to, or maybe have to restart, because I think I've messed it up as badly as I did in the 80s. So, but yeah, like, as I said, I'll come on a bit more to the software, but the hardware has impressed me enough that I'm going to pick it up, even if there's retro collections that I am interested in, but one of the things I'll be picking up first and foremost is actually, they've got a cartridge, I believe it's on sale for like 15 quid. That's a game called Xenoshift, which is a kind of modern game recently made for retro consoles, and likewise Tanglewood, which was recently made, I think it was originally made as a Sega Mega Drive game. And I interviewed the developer on that as well, so I'm really interested to pick up those games at some point and pick through those.
I remember chatting to them and they went, "Do you have a Mega Drive? Because any kind of emulation machine will probably catch fire." And I went, "I've got a Retron 5," and they went, "That's the one that this works with."
Well, that's good to know. But yeah,
so that's funny.
Yeah, the system itself has sold itself to me, even if I need to buy one.
Right. So a couple of just things before we finish up on this. So I think it's going to pretty much live and die depending on what kind of support it gets from
the level of
retro
support so
software
far is
developers.
encouraging, though. No, that's
Yeah. But have they said how many more collections they plan to release, or are they gonna kind of reach out to current indie developers, see if they can adapt what they've done to run on the handheld?
I will say
I think it'll be a bit of both.
there's an Evercade YouTube channel, and they are constantly putting up trailers of the new cartridges that are available in collections, but also, yeah, as you said, Tim, not only is it they go, hey, here's the Namco collection, the Atari collection, the Bitmap Brothers collection, the Codemasters collection. They'll also go, here's the
Bitmap Brothers.
indie. Yes, I want the Bitmap Brothers
I
collection.
need to pick that up as well.
I just want to play a bunch of Chaos Engine on the move. But
I never got to play that game, and I always loved the look of it in like computer game magazine adverts back in the day, and I never got to play it.
I will warn you, if you get the Bitmap Brothers cartridge, I think 3 games are different versions of Speedball and Speedball 2. So
That is fine with me.
Out of 5 games.
I'm good with that.
But yeah, they do indie games where they'll do like a
Speedball 2
collection.
Brutal Deluxe is the only Speedball you need, but yeah, fine.
Yeah, but they'll do like Indie Collection 1, Indie Collection 2, Indie Collection 3. I think they've just advertised a third cartridge on that. So it seems to have the support going forward. It's been out like a year now. I think the handheld version, there's a new iteration of the console. There's new games coming out. It seems to look promising I mean, looking at this box, if you walked past this in a store, you would think this is like one of those things you'd see in a TK Maxx as you're queuing up to go out and there's a novelty gift for you to buy, or in Asda or something like that. And it screams of that. But seriously, they seem to be taking it very seriously, and it seems to be going down very well.
Yeah, this is their approach to it, and the way that they've executed it is the right approach done well, basically. And yeah, right, I'm glad to see that. And yeah, as I said, they sent me a unit, so take that with a pinch of salt if you like. But yeah, I recommend people picking one up, basically, because yeah, anyone in a similar position that is similar age, possibly. That's the one thing I'm really interested in. Is retro gaming as interesting without the nostalgia? Like, does anyone out there play retro games that never played them back in the day, kind of thing? Because I'm interested in games that I never played back in the day, but
it's the same Twazzocks who were born in the noughties but yet wear Nirvana t-shirts.
I would say
it's those people.
Right.
It's people like that, Tim. It's broken Britain.
I would
Cultural
say
appropriation, yeah?
I would say that a lot of interest into retro games comes from your kind of your influencers, your YouTubers and your TikTokers and stuff, because a lot of them do let's plays of older games. Look at this really hard Zelda game before Zelda was in 3D and it was 2D and overhead, and all it's kind of like that kind of stems the interest to going on, and kids that want to be YouTubers and stuff. I think it kind of that has fueled it a lot, you know.
Wow, is that now a career choice? Be a YouTuber?
Sadly, yes, it is.
yes.
Excellent. I mean, do you guys ever do did you ever do the Moresby test when you were in school, where it kind of you answered a bunch of questions and it said, hey, here's what you might be good at?
As in Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
Yes. Why not, Tim? Clearly, you've got no interest in this, so I'm just going to shut
You've
up.
answered these questions, and therefore you are eligible to break on through to the other side.
Welcome to the doors.
Yeah.
Take some acid and go into the Nevada deserts and see what songs you can write.
What? Why not? If it's that will be your YouTuber.
We have run long over, so we're going to have to gloss through the news in the most glossiest fashion. So, Tim,
Hey,
as quiet as you can be.
I will.
So we were going to gloss over these anyway, depending on time, because there was a multitude of streams and they all seemed to happen at the same time on last Thursday after we finished recording. So first of all, there was a state of play that was just focused on Horizon Forbidden West. Looks lovely. 14 minutes of gameplay. They show off some of the environments and stuff and the cutscenes and how they interchange with the gameplay, and it all looks fantastic. However, might be a vertical slice. We don't know.
Might be next year and is probably on PS4. But yeah. Well, no, it is on PS4.
It is on PS4. There's no release date. I really thought they would announce one at the end of that. And I see a lot of which I'm trying to avoid, a lot of podcasts, a lot of game sites and stuff. They're doing that same old thing where they go, well, this looks ready to put out now. Don't delay it. Just stick it out right now. I am ready to play. It might be something that they polished up, ready for the game circuit, game event circuit that didn't happen. We don't know. So calm down. But it looks cracking.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
Sonic Central was a celebration of Sonic's anniversary coming up, 25th.
I didn't even know he got married.
And they showed off a bunch of stuff, including like jewelry, which I was like, yeah, give me that Sonic pendant. I want one of that Shadow the Hedgehog pendant with the ice on it. And also Sonic being added to all these different games in some form or another. Like there's I forget what the name of the Yakuza spin-off is. You can play Sonic Fighters if you go to a Sega arcade in that game now. If you buy the Tokyo Olympics video game, you can have your athlete dressed in a Sonic mascot costume, which just looks hilarious because everyone's like photorealistic, and there's this one guy in a Sonic costume doing the 100
There's
meters.
always that one guy.
But they did announce some actual games in the stream as well. One is the Sonic Origins compilation, which contains Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2 and 3, as well as Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic CD. Assumedly, they'll be able to do the thing where you use Knuckles in Sonic 3 and Sonic 2, because the two cartridges slot into one and stuff. Right, there seems to be some concern over Sonic 3 being shown there in a 4x3 state, but Sega's come out to say, yeah, that will be completely available in widescreen as well. I'll be interested in this because I booted up Sonic 3 the other day on a backwards compatible version I had on my 360, and it looks terrible compared to the high quality ROM I have. I have the cartridge, high quality ROM version that I played on my PC. I'm like, this looks like just arse. So I'm concerned to see how this will look on a console now. Also, Sonic Colors, which is one of the most underrated Sonic platformers out there. It's one of the 3D Sonic games that not a lot of people played because it was on the Wii, and the Wii was doing weird stuff with Sonic, like Sonic Nights, Arabian Nights, and Story Collection, and all that kind of stuff that weren't very good. The Black Knight, that was the other one, and they weren't very good. But this was lumped out there, and it's one of the best Sonic games ever made, apparently. This is the Ultimate Edition. It's going
even if they do say so
themselves. This will be available on the PS4, the Xbox One, the Nintendo Switch, and the PC through Epic Game Store on the 7th of September. And there's also going to be another new Sonic game, which they told us nothing about. They just said it's by Sonic Team, and they showed a pre-rendered trailer where he runs really fast, and it's going to come out on the 2022 on the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Don't get too excited. The last time they did this, it was Sonic Forces.
I was going to say, so they're basically saying, oh, we've had this great idea, right? It's going to be Sonic and, right, side-scrolling, runs really fast. Boom!
I think if this is anything, it tells you to pick up Sonic Origins and Colors and be very mindful of whatever the next game would be, because the last time they did a big Sonic celebration, they announced Sonic Mania, which is a great Sonic game, and Sonic Forces, which is a terrible Sonic game. So be wary of whatever comes from Sonic Team. Dying Light 2, which has now got a new name called Dying Light 2 Stay Human. They added a little subtitle there. They've finally given us a release date of the 7th of December on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. They also, with the gameplay and stuff, I don't know if you guys watched the stream yourselves, but I did, and I went, ooh, I've got till December to finish the first game because this looks really good, and I'd rather get that story closure before I do this.
See, I remember playing the first one and liking it. I don't remember if I own it. I'm not sure if I do, but...
I think you did, because we all got codes from loading.
Possibly, yeah.
I think we have the complete editions.
Okay, I might have to play it at some point. It was a fun kind of parkour-y first-person shooter thing. They look like they've polished it and taken it to the next level with this. Am I going to play it and fall off it again? I don't know. I'm very wary of open-world games because if I don't like them, they're a waste of money, and if I do like them, they're a waste of time.
This is one that came out. They shut it off. I was fortunate enough to get a free copy of the game. Really enjoyed the bit I played, but too many games were coming out that we had to talk about on the show, so it kind of went to the wayside. I'm like, I'll get to it eventually, and now is the time, apparently. But yeah, it looked really cool. They also announced there's going to be 3 different editions: standard, collectors, and deluxe. If you get the collector's edition, which is the more expensive one, you get a figure, flashlight, art book, and steelbook case. And anyone that pre-orders it will get a digital reload pack, which includes a unique outfit, weapon, and paraglider skin.
No, thanks.
Sorry?
Just the last
don't you
bit
want to pre-order and get your skins?
But anyway.
Well, you talk...
Hey, look, I love speculative purchases. They're my favourite kind. It's the only way in which I can get excitement and feel anything
mate,
these
if
days.
you like speculative purchases and you want some pre-orders, then Ubisoft has everyone beat, because Far Cry 6, they
Definitely
did a
not
worldwide
political.
game...
Definitely
No, it's not political. They had a worldwide gameplay reveal trailer.
Do you know what they had me at? To be fair, I'm just going to cut to the chase on this, Coleman. You can say, oh, yeah, new gameplay mechanics, yeah, crafting, yeah, whatever, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Two-legged sausage dog with a wheelbarrow.
Let me get to that, because they showed off...
Right.
So they did the gameplay reveal. They showed off like 3 different trailers. One was the gameplay, one was about characters and weapons, and then the other one was about a special edition that's coming out with a statue and stuff. They showed it looks great. It looks absolutely great. I'm a bit weary after 5, because 5 had things like you get out of a plane, you'd land, you get out the plane, and then the plane would flip over on its own and then go through the world, and then you would fall through the world with the plane. And I don't want my games to do that. It kind of broke my immersion. I stopped playing.
You should stop playing open world games then,
I think so, but yeah, Ubisoft really took the biscuit on the last.
Oh, Ubisoft.
But
and your biscuit stealing.
What they've done with this one is they've gone, here's a cool trailer. What are the 2 main things you remember from that trailer?
Sausage dog.
Sausage dog. Well, a Dachshund that had a wheelchair for his 2 back legs. And a gun that shot CDs that have been burnt playing the Macarena.
Yes.
Those 2 things, if you want them, you have to pre-order the game to get them.
I mean...
And they made such a focus of them on this trailer that really annoyed me at the end.
That's true.
Because they went, look at this. Mm-hmm. They were like, look at these cool inventive guns. Oh, look, this one plays the Macarena. Isn't that funny? And then at the end, they went, also, here's this cool dog. And then they went, after that, they like, Far Cry 5, available
6,
Far Cry 6, available October the 7th. Pre-order to get the cool Macarena looking gun and the Dachshund with the broken legs.
Well, the Discos Locos and Libertad Chorito, I believe.
That's the ones.
Liberated sausage.
Liberated chorizo.
Liberated sausage.
Yeah, that really wound me up for some reason. I don't know why that rubbed me up the wrong way, but it really did.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, obviously, it graphically looks pretty, and I'd be interested to see how deep the crafting mechanic is.
It won't be that deep.
It'll be like, find CDs.
It won't be that
Judging by previous
find
games,
it with this thing, make a CD launcher.
It won't be that deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it looks just like some more Far Cry to me.
Here's what you do. You do your trailer, you go, boom, release date, platforms underneath the release date. Afterwards, you can put in a
pre-order now to get
these
2 cool things.
Don't put it in the main trailer and then go, here's these 2 highlights that you like the look of. We're going to pre-order the game to get
your non-political sausage dog.
Do you like liberating your sausage?
Yeah. I don't know.
Liberate the sausage.
Otherwise, it looks good. And it's the second Breaking Bad cast member to be a bad guy in these games after 3.
Unleash the pepperoni.
The last 2 ones. So Nintendo has won a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against a ROM hosting website. Now you may be thinking, well, that's not big news because they did this in 2018. They won over $12 million through damages caused by 2 other ROM hosting websites. This one, I kind of side with Nintendo more than the other ones because the other ones were about the retro ROMs, your NES, your SNES, your GBAs and GBCs.
So the stuff that's no longer in circulation, basically.
Stuff that if they don't do everything that you want to get through their Nintendo Switch service, and even at the time they didn't do everything available. They do more now, less then. This one. So this was reported by Torrent Freak. ROM Universe, they because their website has been taken down since the lawsuit started. I looked at their Twitter, which is still available, even though they haven't tweeted out anything since the lawsuit started. Their last tweet is something along the lines of Nintendo Switch games. You bet we've got them. So they were doing the more modern games that you should not be pirating.
Yeah, I mean, well, you shouldn't be technically. Well, you shouldn't be pirating.
Technically,
anyway.
You shouldn't be downloading ROMs, but I see a use for things like. So I love the arcade game Alien vs Predator.
I mean, yep.
Where can I buy that?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Arcades.
I have to buy an arcade machine to play it, and that is thousands of pounds from a retro collector with parts that don't exist anymore. Especially the monitors, they don't exist anymore. So if I want to buy one, I have to buy one, retrofit it, and you know it's a big cost. At that point, download to your heart's content. That's fine. I completely wholehearted agree with that. When you're going, hey, we found a way of ripping games from the Switch and we've put them available, and here's a way, a workaround to do it, or we'll point you in the direction to do it. Nah. That's fine. But yeah,
Took it too far.
Nintendo on the tear once again. We've also got Sony. We were speaking about Sony's purchase of Evo. They've announced their first thing to do with Evo, which is, and we were talking about this in sense of why would they buy Evo? What would PlayStation have to gain from this? Yes, they've kind of been they've been the number one for fighters in the last generation, I think, because of Street Fighter being a platform exclusive and Tekken being like the place to go was the PlayStation and all this kind of stuff. I think now they've made this point clear is that they do the tournament stuff on PlayStation 4, which seems to be missing from PS5, but on PlayStation 4. I didn't even put two and two together. They do PlayStation fighting tournaments. Why not throw the name Evo in there, the number one name in fighting game tournaments? So there's going to be a community series of events, which were announced on the PlayStation blog, which will take place between the 10th of June and the 3rd of August. And there's going to be more than 120 tournaments available around the world, with $74,000 in total of prize money available to competitors. So you can actually go...
Across how many tournaments?
Loads. I don't know how many exactly.
So $72,000 between roughly how many?
Well, I'll put it this way. So you can, if you're interested, you can go...
Could I win a $5? Is that what you're saying?
You can go on PlayStation's competition center website, which on your PC, or I think you can do it in the dashboard on the PS4 as well. I don't think you can on the PS5. The events tab on PS4. But looking over this, so for instance, if you sign up to the PlayStation Tournaments FGC Arcade Evo Edition, which runs between the 10th of June and the 22nd of June, you can, if you have a PlayStation Plus subscription to take part, you can duke it out for a chance of winning a $20,000 prize pool in Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Guilty Gear Strive, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, and Tekken 7.
So $5,000.
If you take part in the PlayStation Tournaments Evo 2021 online warm-up, which takes place between the 22nd of June to the 13th of July, that offers a $19,000 prize pool for competitors playing the same games as previously mentioned. And there's a final, which is the PlayStation Tournaments Evo 2021 online side tournaments. That's between the 8th of July and the 3rd of August, allowing players to fight for $35,000 prize pool for BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, Dragon Ball Fighters, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Mobile Suit Gundam, Extreme Verse Maxi Boost On, Skullgirl Second Encore,
that is ridiculous.
Soul Calibur 6, and Under Night in Birth X Late CL -R.
course.
I think that's the right way.
I mean, have a word with yourself.
Some of these Japan names are ridiculous. But anyway, the thing is, outside of all that with the big prize pool monies and stuff, there are qualifiers. So I was taking a look at the Tekken, because I'm playing a lot of Tekken 7 lately, and I thought, maybe I'll give Tekken 7 a try on the online. Or Mortal Kombat 11. I'm playing a lot of Mortal Kombat 11 as well. If you take a look at the events page on PlayStation, for instance, you can go into the just like the qualifier rounds, and you can get some extra V-Bucks in game, whatever the currencies are in those games, to buy cosmetics and stuff for participating. But if you win, you get a bunch of those and like $100. So, if you qualify, you can, that's $100. That's like 80 quid. Ain't bad for playing video games.
You're not going to retire and become an esports legend anytime soon Coleman, but
not.
No, but
it's not back.
No,
money,
but it might be like if you can make it all the way and you can make yourself $35,000 in a cool prize pool.
No. That's $35,000 prize pool. So that's split between
all
of the
fair
prizes.
Enough. But if you got all the way to the end, I'm assuming then maybe you could throw your hat in the ring to be like, hey, I'm qualified to be an Evo player.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Give me one of them jackets with the sponsors all over it, like some MMA shorts.
We could make you one of those.
Yeah.
We can make you a jacket with random company names on it if you want.
Rat Poison, Compact.
Tipex. Anusol.
Preparation H.
All of the favourites.
Yeah, all of that.
Vagisil.
Yeah. I don't know. If you're a competitive fighting game player, check out the events tab on your PS4 and there might be some stuff interesting. I'm thinking of doing some, because I've got a few of these games actually, so I was thinking of jumping into BlazBlue Cross Battle, Dragon Ball Fighters, Tekken 7 and
It's quite funny that you buy more fighting
Not
games
Street
than
Fighter
I do
5, because yeah. Probably not Street Fighter 5 Championship Edition because Tim can attest to this. I am no good at that game. I'm not even
lots of years of
entertained that I could win at
experience on
that.
you on that one. Like, catch up with other things a bit better, but yeah.
Right, last.
Yes.
I have a question to close this new section out.
Yes.
Hi, Coleman. My name is Dan, and I have not been able to buy a PS5 yet. Have Sony gonna make it possible for me to live my dreams and bully a child again through the medium of being a baldy angry man in God of War 2 on my PS4?
Yes, because PlayStation have... So Herman Holst, him formerly of Gorilla, he now like head of PlayStation Europe, he went out and went, hey, guess what? God of War 2 is going to be available on the PS4. Also, it's been delayed till 2022. But it's going to be available on the PS4.
Yeah. I mean, if they're that worried about, if we limit it, if we make it PS5 exclusive, we're going to be able to sell 6 copies because that's our install base.
I think
it's a bit weird. I mean, out in 22, PS4 out in 2022.
Dan, I think this is the same situation as Resident Evil 5. When the PlayStation 5 announcement happened, they went, here is Resident Evil 5. Go get yourself a PlayStation 5 to play Resident Evil 5. And then closer to the launch...
You're using I am, sorry,
8. Village, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, Resident Evil Village, they went, hey, go get yourself a PS5 so you can play this
8.
game. And people went, okay, I got my PS5 available. Let me get some Village. And they went, by the way, it's also available on the PS4. I think it's more a ploy to sell consoles by not saying that they're available on the previous gen versions until after the console has been announced released.
Or is the PS4 version going to be so... Is it going to run at like 15 frames a second? And it's going to be like, look, if you actually want to enjoy this that you just spent money on, gotta buy a PS5, sunshine.
Yeah, they did say Horizon Forbidden West, is like, there's going to be graphical differences on that, and there's some sections, particularly the underwater sections, that will look a lot better on the PS5 by the sounds of things. So
I totally agree with that. But I put it this way. When the PS4 was announced and hadn't come out yet, they announced Batman Arkham Knight. And a lot of people got excited and went, I need a PS4 for this game. And I did it too. Just like a month before Arkham Knight came out, I finally got my PS4. And then they went, we're delaying it to next year. We sold you a PS4. We put Batman on the packaging and everything, and you bought it. Sucker. I think it's a sales tactic. Hide the fact that these guys, because I no way do I think that they released the PS5 and went, oh, people haven't got enough of our consoles. We're going to this game that we've made for this platform, we're going to take it and make another version for this platform just in case. Because not enough people are going to play it.
Look, I do think there's a bit of a kind of shenanigans with the, sort of hit, like, look at the mirror, don't look at the shiny. Like, there's kind of a bit of, distraction techniques that are definitely going on here. Like, they definitely did it with Gran Turismo, and I'm suspicious of them doing it with that, because I didn't think a Gran Turismo would be out anywhere near launch, and they showed it off when they were announcing the console. Like, Gran Turismo 7 is another one of the games that has also been delayed but got a bit less coverage, just because God of War tends to be the headliner.
And also, everyone knows with the Gran Turismo game, that's never coming out on the day they say it is.
Right, yeah. But I do think there has, to be fair to Sony, I do think things have changed during the time since they announced the PS5. And one of those factors that's changed is a lot more people bought PS4s recently. With the whole lockdown and everything going into that, way more people picked up PS4s. That not only shifted the goalpost in terms of it makes more business sense to release for that, but there's also a load of people that just picked up a new console that probably would felt undermined if you didn't continue to sell games to them for an extended period of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is an element of that, but with the only one that I believe that they might be transitioning to the PlayStation 4 is Gran Turismo, because Gran Turismo is the only one out of all of the games that are coming to the PS4 that they didn't announce were coming to the PS4 when they revealed them for the PS5 reveal. Yeah, is Gran Turismo. If you look at the trailer for Gran Turismo, it says in the fine print at the bottom, PlayStation 5 exclusive. It's the only one to do it.
Ooh.
So therefore, I think they might have, I don't know if they've delayed it specifically for that reason. I doubt they have. But they might be pushing it back a little bit further to do that, or they might be doing, they might have a completely different port house working on it. I don't know. But at the same time, I think God of War 2 was always going to be a PS4 game.
Yes.
Yeah. Anywho, I'm drawing a line under the news, I've decided.
That's fair, because we've ran way over.
Yeah.
Sorry, we got to skip questions and everything this week. We did run way too long.
But we will answer questions. And remember, you all have homework.
Well, also, it's going to be, like, there's more news this week because we're running into E3 weeks coming up, sort of thing, as well, even if E3 isn't really properly.
Oh, good, a short show next week, then.
Fantastic.
So there's going to be lots more news in the next few weeks. So try and make your questions E3 or news focused if you can, so that we can get them in the show.
Anywho, right, we need to go because reasons. Thank you ever so much for listening. It's a pleasure, as always, to nestle inside your earhead, which is lovely. Thank you for downloading us. We really do appreciate it. Make sure you go to www.BigRedBarel.com, say hello, and make sure to click on that little Discord link in the corner, because that's where we hang out and stuff. And we try and do a couple of game nights, try and get a couple of people, get to know one another, having some fun. Some light-hearted video game-based japes and tomfoolery is definitely, you should check us out for that. And we're also on Twitter at BigRedBarel. And Facebook at Big Red Barrel. Why not? Yeah,
Facebook at Big Red Barrel, YouTube Big Red Barrel TV.
And also, I know we're running long, but I did say that I would say Loading Bar is open, in case you hadn't heard. We mentioned it quickly last week, but you can also reserve tables via their Google listing stuff. So through Google, just search for Loading Bar.
Stuff and stuff.
Glad you made it nice and specific to help the people out, Tim.
They are currently open Wednesday to Sunday, so not open on Monday and Tuesday. Apparently, a few people have been going in and asking about Tabletop Tuesday already. Thank you very much for doing so. We will have more news on that coming up very soon as well, basically. Yeah. But yeah.
www.google.com/stuff
hot tip though, for any of our listeners, if you mention Tabletop Tuesday while booking your table, you can get yourself 10% off for doing so. So take advantage of that where you can, my friends.
Does that work anyway? If I can book it like TFI Friday?
Yeah. The IV?
I mean, you can try by all means, but Loading Bar is the only place where it has been pre-authorised.
Beef Eater,
Loading Bar,
Harvester,
Toby Carvery,
Tabletop Tuesday,
Stoke Newington
Toby Carvery,
because it's
Tabletop
moved down
Tuesday.
the road from where it was in Dalston. So yes, Be aware it has
Yes.
moved. Check the new location. Book a table. Mention Tabletop Tuesday. Get 10% off. And be happy.
Closer to the station.
Jolly good.
And does
Closer
food.
to the station. That's easier.
Gaming themed food.
Dan, wrap up.
Tim.
Wrap
Tim,
up,
shush
Dan.
Now. Very good. All right. So, anyway, we are really going.
Yeah.
But all that really remains is for us to remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
I have been Coleman.
Yeah, you have. And that's your lot. So thanks ever so much for downloading the show. And until next time, dear listeners, toodle pie.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.
They made a big deal about they wanted to clean up the eyes, make them a little bit more like vibrant and add some life to them, which they have. But also because the like whites of like the characters' eyes are so much more prominent, it looks like they're intensely staring at everyone all of the time.